In this video, I'm going to provide an overview of Optimal IDM's VIS for Federation services. This picture depicts a claims-aware web application talking to Optimal IDM's identity provider, or STS, secure token service, that provides the login functionality and Federation cookies for a claims-aware web application. You'll see that it actually performs the authentication over to our virtual identity server, which has adapters to many different common systems, such as Active Directories. They could be multiple Active Directory forests, other directories such as Sun, eDirectory, Atom, ADLDS, databases such as Oracle and SQL, or any other data store. So, in essence, this solution allows you to authenticate to claims-aware applications wherever the identities reside. Our functionality handles that for you. Now, you could deploy this, such as SharePoint or CRM, directly to our identity provider. You can also perform this where ADFS is in the mix. In this scenario here, the user would first access the application to claims-aware app, such as SharePoint CRM. They'd get redirected to ADFS first. ADFS would then redirect them to our STS, and then we perform the authentication. Two main reasons you'd want to have ADFS in the equation. Scenario one is you want to truly federate outbound to other organizations. So ADFS provides that relying party functionality. We're providing the identity provider or authentication functionality. ADFS will handle that relying party connection to other systems, other companies. The second scenario is where you need to do protocol transitioning, such as Shibboleth to SAML token, for example. ADFS provides that type of functionality. So let's see this actually in action. I'm going to bring up a web browser here, and while I'm doing that, we're going to take a look at this LDAP manager application. So I have a couple of different connections. I have an ADLDS that has a whopping one user, Joe Cool. I have an Active Directory where the bulk of my user accounts are. And up here through our VIS, so this is an LDAP connection, you can see I have my AD where I've filtered out data actually. I've filtered out all the CNs because I only wanted to show OUs, groups, and users. I also have this external users connector, external users OU, where this is my external user, Joe Cool, surfaced through there. And I'm also surfacing SQL users, so users that exist in a SQL database as LDAP users. So I now can search for and find identities across multiple disparate directories, databases, and LDAP directories. Couple that with our secure token service, which I'm about to do, you can now authenticate them into these systems. So I click a link there for SharePoint. SharePoint actually did a redirect to ADFS. You can see that here. And ADFS did a redirect to our STS. Now, you'd never really see this login screen because we'd actually configure it for how the customer wants this to be deployed. Typical example is we would use Windows Integrated, for example. So I'll click that link. That takes whoever you're logged into Windows as into your desktop and logs you into SharePoint with that. So it actually took my admin account, authenticated me with the Windows Integrated, and got me into SharePoint. Scenario two, I'm at home at an internet cafe and I'm not VPN'd in. So in that scenario, we would fail on the Windows Integrated and we would show username and password. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So this is where the user would actually type in their AD credentials, or if they existed in ADLDS or Sun, wherever their credentials reside. And here I was authenticated into SharePoint, and all my claims were presented to SharePoint. Take a look at our SharePoint video for more information on that. So, couple the other features that we have that you saw on that login screen that we have beyond just username and password in Windows Integrated. We'll go over here. So we have self-registration with a CAC card. We also have just the CAC authentication. So the Common Access, CAC stands for Common Access Card, which is a Department of Defense smart card. So a digital certificate on a card, and we can provide that automatic authentication based on that smart card. The self-reg-CAC actually will perform an example of the app that I have here. We can provide a self-registration off of the CAC. So you authenticate for the first time, we pull certain information off of that card, like the eDIPI number, your first name, last name. We pull that off of the certificate, can send that through workflow for approval into a system. Completely customizable. This is used by numerous DoD agencies, and more than happy to do a demo on that. So we also provide OpenID, so you can provide a single sign-on using your OpenID and authenticate over there with OpenID. Client certificate, so very similar to Smart Card where there's a cert there. This is a browser certificate, and you can see I have one in my browser, and now I'm in as again the admin account, but this time I logged in with a digital certificate. So all the functionality I'm showing you here is completely 100% out of the box. Just do the configuration necessary within your environment. So you're not writing any custom code, supporting some custom STS that you could have written using the WIF framework from Microsoft. We're providing a vendor-supported solution for you here, providing this functionality. Lastly, over here, in terms of the authentication, we have two-factor. So this really could be any two-factor authentication. In the particular case that I'm showing you here, I'm showing you authentication via text messaging. So this is soft token based. I'm pulling my cell phone out of the directory so that you can see that number there. If we did this, it would send an SMS text message to the device. You could also send a phone call to the device, and it would give you the authentication. I won't actually go through that piece. So assuming both factors are successful, you would then be authenticated and sent on to the application, redirected back to the application. There is some additional functionality that's a part of our federation component that's not directly related to authentication, and that's our change password, forgot password, and update profile. So we'll kind of go through each of these. Change password. That's where I truly do know my existing password and I want to change it. So you can surface this out on an internet portal, for example, where users don't have access. Maybe they're traveling and don't have VPN access. They can't do a Control-Alt-Delete at a desktop to change their password. They can, in essence, change their AD password here remotely over the internet. Now, the forgot password functionality. So this is, you've forgotten your Active Directory password. Oops. And you would like to go through the forgot password. So what this has done, this has asked for 3 of 5 questions that are stored on my profile. I must answer 2 of the 3 correctly in order to set my password. So if I answer these questions correctly, I would be brought to the change password screen. Completely configurable in terms of how many questions. Also, the entire branding of this whole solution, the login page, the forgot password functionality, everything can completely be styled with style sheets, so it's very easy to brand for your organization. No schema changes are required for this, so this is stored virtually within the VIS system, so absolutely 0 schema changes and nothing stored in AD itself. And then, of course, the update profile page. This is where you would actually update those questions and answers, and you can also put additional attributes if you'd like. And here's where you see I would update my data for the forgot password functionality. One final note, just in terms of features and functionality in the Federation component, is our auditing. So you can see here I've brought up a database. We also have web reports that go off of this database. I'm showing you the raw detail. And you can see that Mike Brangs issued tokens when I was authenticated, not before, not after, the audience, the reply to, profile, and the type of authentication. So it was client certificate, two-factor, username and password. You have complete auditing, knowing who authenticated when and with what claims. Again, this is included functionality. You optionally choose whether you want to deploy the logging capabilities. So you have a complete advanced audit logging. We also provide denial of service prevention and detection. So since you're exposing your Active Directory to the internet and you're allowing people to authenticate with their AD credentials, you're open to a denial of service attack where AD accounts could be compromised. We can virtually lock out those accounts so that your AD account would not get locked out. We can also surface alerts. So not only can we detect that, we can prevent it, but we can also send alerts to administrators that potentially your admin account or whatever account it is has been had a denial of service attack. Please look at the other videos for additional information, and if you have any inquiries, please direct them to our sales staff.